Hey everyone, let me break down what's happening with XRP. And trust me, this is wild. Digital Perspectives just dropped this. Evernorth is going to buy up all the XRP off retail exchanges. These are exciting times. Seriously, you need to check out what Evernorth has cooking behind the scenes. Listen to this.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashish Burla. Some of you may know me from my years at Ripple, where I helped Brad and the team bring blockchain to the real-world payments. But today, I want to share more about Evernorth, a new kind of company built to provide institutional investors and public markets with exposure to XRP. Think of it as a publicly traded XRP treasury that gives investors simple, regulated, and liquid exposure to XRP. But with a twist, we aim to collectively grow our XRP holdings, and what we generate from the treasury will be used to purchase more XRP for the treasury. We've built an incredible team of leaders from crypto, capital markets, and finance. People who have been at the forefront of innovation, regulation, and risk management for years. Together, we're committed to building something enduring for the long term. And we're backed by a world-class group of investors and leaders, including SBI, Ripple, Arrington Capital, Pantera Capital, and Kraken, firms that share our conviction in XRP's future. So why now? For the first time, XRP has clear regulatory standing in the United States, opening the door for large-scale adoption. Evernorth is positioned to be the trusted, transparent bridge to the public markets. This is just the beginning, and I couldn't be more excited to build this together with the community at every turn. Follow along. We're excited for what's ahead.
All right, that clip just verified some massive points. He's confirming XRP adoption is inbound, but here's where it gets interesting. This validates everything I've been preaching to you from day one. You've got to shift your approach here. Stop letting your XRP collect dust. Put it into motion, start pulling passive income from it, and then here's the power move. Cycle a portion of those returns straight back into acquiring more XRP. That's the blueprint Evernorth is running with right now. They're playing the infinite game, continuously building their position as long as the revenue streams keep flowing. See what's unfolding here? They're strategically positioning to control an enormous percentage of this digital asset as time goes on. We are proud to announce that REX-Osprey XRP ETF XRR has surpassed $100 million in AUM as of October 23, 2025. XPR is the first US ETF to provide investors with spot exposure to XRP. And boom, you can pull up their exact holdings right on your screen. Let me give you the real deal on spot ETFs and why they're actually a game changer. These things don't mess around. They physically hold the asset. So every spot ETF needs to stack up actual XRP and keep it locked down long term. That's pulling supply right off the market. See what's happening here? When XRP starts drying up on exchanges, that's when things get interesting. Prices are going to shoot up fast. Researcher on XRP ETF, they didn't delay the launch. They are repositioning for what's coming. This piece is heavy on speculation, just so you know. Their angle? The whole ETF holdup was strategic, like they pumped the brakes intentionally, and supposedly everything goes live November 6th. But here's my actual read on the situation. I'm thinking the government shutdown is the real reason these XRP ETFs are stuck in limbo right now. What's the timeline looking like? Could this stuff move forward even while the government's still dark? Truth is, we're all kind of guessing at this point. What Eleanor Tourette and others keep saying is pretty consistent though. Don't expect XRP ETFs to launch until the government's back online. And those reopening forecasts keep shifting around. So Friday was the target, right? Well, that came and went. Total no-show. Now you've got this whole circus of predictions happening. Half the crowd's betting on early November, the other half's already circling Thanksgiving on their calendars. Here's where I stand. The second that government shutdown ends, we're going to see crypto take off like a rocket. That's the moment everything changes. But until then, we're basically throwing darts blindfolded, trying to figure out when these ETFs are going to actually launch. The wild guessing game people are playing with dates is getting out of hand. Everyone's acting like they cracked some secret code. It's this Tuesday, or no wait, next Wednesday for sure. Come on, reality check. Nobody knows. It happens when it happens, period. Securitize is going public via a SPAC planning to be listed in public markets with the help from Cantor Fitzgerald. Securitize has integrated Ripple's RLUSD into its platform, allowing investors in tokenized funds to exchange shares directly into RLUSD. All right, listen to this part.
Securitize is a tokenization company. We reported that it is going public through a SPAC, a trend we haven't seen in a long time. The deal will value Securitize at over $1 billion, and it will be listed in the public market after.
And what's the benefit of Securitize going public versus staying private?
So it definitely is about gathering capital with a listed vehicle. They have a lot more flexibility in raising equity. The interesting thing about Securitize is that it actually is a vehicle or a company that is trying to turn e-liquid asset in the traditional sense. For instance, think of like the KKR private equity fund or some sort of private equity fund that usually you cannot trade like a liquid asset. And with the tokenization, you can trade the exposure of these assets. So for this kind of company to go public in the traditional way, in a traditional equity market, that is giving a lot of testament to us how they think about the equity that will be available to them.
And you mentioned this would be through a SPAC, those special purpose acquisition companies, a SPAC that was started actually by Cantor Fitzgerald, which has a vested interest in the development of the crypto industry.
So Cantor is a very interesting company right now. It's at a very critical spot within the crypto industry. They really have built out the crypto investment banking coverage team. And with Howard Lutnick being in the administration and Cantor Fitzgerald, the investment bank being run by his son, this particular SPAC, it actually counts Brandon Lutnick, the son of Howard Lutnick, as the CEO and chairman. The company, Cantor, is also very close to Tether, and so there is a lot of their exposure to crypto that Cantor is in right now. They've actually raised 4 SPACs, and number 1 has already announced a deal. This we are expecting some sort of announcement in the near future, and we could see the remaining 2 potentially also going into something in the crypto world, but we haven't heard much on those yet.
Now, you mentioned that
The floodgates are opening, people. We're about to watch company after company go public in the next few months. It's like a domino effect happening right before our eyes. And guess what? The exact same pattern is playing out with banking licenses. Ripple kicked things off by applying for one. Then Crypto.com jumped on board. Now everyone's getting in line. This tells you everything you need to know about where crypto is headed right now. My prediction, all these companies building on top of the XRP ledger are going to start hitting the public markets, and it's going to happen fast. Look at Epic, the XRP real-world asset network. Epic is now part of Apple Developer Program, making a new chapter in digital finance innovation. Apple powers over 1.5 billion active devices worldwide, giving Epic direct access to one of the largest consumer ecosystems on the planet. With a focus on payments, liquidity, and seamless user experience, Epic is building the next wave of financial applications designed for scale and built for everyday use. Pretty massive news, if you ask me. Their whole focus is real-world assets on the XRP ledger. I'm keeping a close eye on how this unfolds, and this guy sounds like he could be Brad Garlinghouse's twin. Listen to this.
Money should be like emails or texts. $1 billion a second, all free. And what we really need to do to fix the payment system is then we can have, consumer demand payments and consumer demand receipts. In other words, I shouldn't get paid every 2 weeks or every month. I should get paid every minute. And we could agree on the price, and every minute money goes into my account. My mortgage should not be a monthly payment. It should be every minute you take money out of my account for my mortgage. Netflix should not be a monthly subscription. It should be, I start watching a movie, and every minute you take a penny or 2 or whatever the price is going to be of a particular movie. That's the system we need. They had the capability to do that 30 years ago. Yep. And really what I think is strangling the digital economy is the payment system.
And you know what? He's absolutely right about this. The payment system is a disaster, guys. Everyone's out here pretending everything's fine, like Swift is the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, cool, works great, right up until the moment you need to send money internationally. That's when reality smacks you in the face. And if you want to talk about micropayments, forget it. The amount of friction involved makes it basically impossible. That's literally why your paycheck shows up weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. It's not some genius design, it's just broken infrastructure. But listen, this is all going to shift. Innovation doesn't ask for permission. Now, Brad, wait a second. Did that guy just channel his inner Brad Garlinghouse or what? Price predictions, 1024 Bitcoin, ETH, BNB, XRP, Sol, Doge, ADA, Hype, Link, XLM. You click through to read it, and what's the verdict? Only Bitcoin gets the thumbs up. Everything else they listed? Apparently, doom and gloom, bear market incoming. This happens constantly. They drop these attention-grabbing headlines about altcoins while sneaking in the Bitcoin agenda underneath. I'm counting down the days until this Bitcoin hype machine finally runs out of gas, when it stops dominating every single conversation and we can actually discuss what's happening with other digital assets. In this space, XLM is seriously underrated. It's a solid cryptocurrency with genuine use cases, and it shares a lot of DNA with XRP and XDC. People are eventually going to have to pay attention. Now let me tell you something about QNT and digital trade. There's actually fewer QNT tokens floating around than there are Bitcoin. I've always viewed QNT as my version of Bitcoin because I'm convinced it's going to leave Bitcoin's price performance in the dust once it picks up steam. Right now, though, we're living in the first mover advantage game. Bitcoin owns that spot and everyone holding it wants to keep the party going. But let's be honest, that collective faith in Bitcoin, it's not going to stick around indefinitely. Swift, CIO, explains why 12,000 banks will not be using a volatile bank-themed magic bean as a bridge currency, despite what XRP TikTok Patriot told you. All right, pause for a second. Why is Swift's Chief Innovation Officer even weighing in on this on X? That's what confuses me. What's motivating this guy to go after XRP like that? My guess? It's because he's their innovation officer. Let's be brutally honest here. Swift hasn't been doing much innovating recently. We're dealing with a 50-year-old dinosaur of a system that's completely broken and screaming for major overhauls. And take a wild guess who holds the patent for those necessary upgrades. That would be Ripple. But Ripple's not just patching holes in the old infrastructure, they're constructing a full-blown Swift replacement. They've already woven themselves into Swift's ecosystem through countless partnerships and different entry points. Meanwhile, they're simultaneously building their own competitor to make Swift obsolete. Here's a thought. If you're gonna bash a cryptocurrency publicly, maybe pick one you've actually researched and understand. The guy's out here calling XRP magic beans at the exact moment Ripple is blowing up, linking with Swift, making all these massive connections. Like, how does that even track? Donald Trump selects Bitcoin and crypto supporter Michael Selig as CFTC chair. Honestly, I'm skeptical this even happened. But here's my theory, and bear with me. Stuart T might have actually orchestrated this whole thing. Why do I say that? Well, Stuart T.I. was hyping up Michael Selig left and right throughout the Ripple versus SEC battle. We're talking about the same lawyer who looked at XRP and basically said there's zero security vibes here. There's no common relationship between Ripple and the purchasers. Michael Selig says, I don't think XRP ultimately is still deemed in these types of transactions to be a non-security. The man was out there campaigning for XRP clarity while Ripple was duking it out with the SEC. Fast forward to now and boom, he's the CFTC chair? Yeah, I'm calling it. That's not random chance, folks. Just my 2 cents though. Crypto millionaire Gordon XRP is going to send and nothing will stop it. His exact words? Absolutely perfect. Move up from the right shoulder. XRP is going to send and nothing will stop it. Do you understand? Look, everyone's buzzing about what's going to push XRP forward. People are throwing out price targets left and right. I mean, pull up that XRP chart and tell me it doesn't look amazing. Honestly, I can't wrap my head around anyone being negative about this coin right now. Just check out who's showing up at Ripple Swell this year. That right there proves you made a smart move with your money. This isn't a casino bet. You've got the winning ticket in your hand. Now you're just sitting back waiting for those numbers to drop. And here's what I'm seeing. Folks are going to scream, that's the peak, way before it actually happens. Watch what happens when XRP dips even a tiny bit. Everyone's going to panic and say we hit the ceiling. Then boom, it shoots up again. The real trigger? When the government gets back to work. That's my signal for crypto taking off. Seriously. Because right now, with everything on pause and just the president popping up here and there to discuss tariffs or sit down with China's leader and stuff like that, it's creating confusion. A huge sell-off hits, and look, Bitcoin has shown us this pattern again and again, but then the government starts running and boom, we're right back on the highway toward ETFs, proper guidelines, and all that good stuff. That's my big green light right there. Strap in tight, because when it flips, we're going vertical. Until then, don't panic, keep that positive energy flowing, and that's where I'll leave it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in with me. I'll be back with another one soon. Enjoy your evening.